Hello and welcome to YMT112 Algorithm and Programming 2 tutorial session. We are speaking about chapter 14, so we will be discussing applets. And as you know, applets are actually a special type of GUI where we can inject them or add them to web pages. And in that case, they are actually smaller than normal GUI applications, lighter, can be simply or easily injected or added to web pages. You have gone through all these advantages and disadvantages of applets during the theory session. Let's just go to the practical directly and create some applets and see how we can use them. So the first question in this tutorial, design a simple applet that allows the user to enter a text. So what we need to do is, it's very similar to GUI, however this is an applet. We need to know how to design it and write its definition in Java. And what we need to create is, here you can see we have a label and we have a text field. We have non-editable text field for the output. We have another label and we have a button. So likely we have one panel here, another panel down here, and another panel down here. You can think of different types of layouts to create those. Maybe you can use the grid if you like, or any other type. Well, grid seems fit, like we have 3 rows, just 1 column. These are left justified, and this one is centralized. So you can think of this way, or maybe you can use flow layout. For example, you can use south, center, and east, for example, north, for example. So it's up to you. But how can we create those using applets? This is exactly what we are going to do. Let's go to NetBeans and start creating it. I have already created a package for this chapter. So let me just go and create JApplet. I'm going to use this class and we will explain about it in a while and the use of it actually. What I'm going to say, the idea of the question, sorry, I forgot to tell you, the idea of the question is we enter a text and this text is limited and I will ask you to improve it later on. Just a text, and then if we calculate it, will give us the vowel count. So just a normal text, let's say this is a test, and then I click calculate, it will count for me the number of vowels, all the vowels in the sentence, and then it will display in the output here a number, just a number, the total count of vowels. And in that case, we need to create all the relevant components here, panels or whatever, buttons and the actions that we need to take. Okay, so now let me give it a name, vowel count maybe, or vowel calculator. It's up to you. Calculator, okay. It's just a name. I'm not interested in documenting it. You can document it the way you like if you want. We learned about documentation. Now look, by default, because I created a JApplet, now look, we are extending JApplet and we're giving its functionalities, whatever available in it. It's a super class for vowel calculator. So this is the idea. Now what we need to do is very similar to JFrame, what we did before in the previous 2 chapters. Now we used to do something with a constructor in JFrame, for example, or the classes that we use to extend the JFrame functionality to them. In this case, in Applets, we don't do that. Rather, we use an initializer. It's very similar to constructor. Init is an initializer method we use for, you can say, in the place of a constructor to build our components. So we're speaking about building components. What kind of components are we going to build? Now let's just have a look again. We have label, another label. We have a text field, editable. We have non-editable text field. We have a button. So likely we have one panel, another panel, and a third panel. and then we have two components for this panel, another two components for the other panel, and one component for the third panel. So this is how we can compose it. Let's define these private attributes that we have, and we explained why we set them private before. I don't have to explain them again. Let me use jpanel, okay? And what I'm going to do, I have three panels. Input, I can call it input, sorry, input panel. P is enough. I don't have to write panel. If you want, you can write it. Although I don't like it actually, P, just P. It doesn't make much of a sense, but I don't want to spend time typing output panel P, okay. The third one is button. We have button panel, okay. And then, of course, because I have not yet imported the AWT package, then I have to do that. I can swing first. We start by swing, and also the AWT because I need some packages from AWT. I just call the JApplet. I need also AWT-Y because I have a button, and this button needs some action and needs registration. Let me call all the package here, the swing. We have other components also to be used. Now we have also private. We need to have a text field. We have two text fields, one editable, one non-editable. So let's just, both of them are text fields, so JText field. And then we need to create one for the in, one for the out, text in, I call it, and the other one I call it text out. That's good. I have a button. I will not I will not define it here. I don't have any business with it in the private attributes here. Rather, I will define it where I need it exactly in its own method. So now for the initializer, the constructor, what we did earlier or in previous chapters about the constructors, we were defining the main attributes of our own GUI. For the applet, you don't have to do much. You don't have to set the default closing operations, the size, and so on. These things you don't have to. They are not needed actually. And all you need to do, you need to set the layout. That's important. And you need to build your own panels and place them to the pane that you have, or the container of the GUI, not GUI in this case, of the applet. Okay. So I'm going to create three methods: build, input, panel. Okay. As you see, let me just show you. This is the input. I have an input. I have a text field, a label, and a text field. Okay. And then I will also build output panel. And the third one, I have a button, also panel. And we have created three panels. How can, what kind of organization or layout will I have? I can set the layout to be like this. I instantiate the layout type. I'll just use the grid. It's simpler in this case. It's easier for me to manage it. And I'll say I have 3 rows and 1 column. Now look, 1 row, 2, 3. So it makes sense. Okay, so I have 3 rows, 1 column, and I have nothing else. Sorry, that's it. So 3 rows, 1 column. Grid layout seems not defined. Why? Because we didn't actually import the AWT. I'm going to import it. Let's import grid, and then I'll just ask all of it instead of this one. I'll ask all AWT because I may need it. I also need the event. Let me also do it from now. Import. So I need to import java.awt.event. I need the event, yes. So I have action event. I have 2 things to be imported. So I'll import all the event components. So we set the layout, then we need to place these components to the pane or whatever we have as an applet viewer. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Add. Okay. I'll add now, as we said earlier, the grid that we created, 3 rows. Which one comes first? Place it first. So this one comes first, is the input, then the output, then the button. So I need to do this. Where is my input? This one, input panel. Now you may say it's empty. Yes, we are going to create it. Okay. And then next to that, add the output panel. And then next to that, we need to add the button panel. And that's pretty much of it. There is no packing, there is no other stuff. In this case, you don't have to do anything actually. It's quite convenient in this case. We don't have much to do other than building our components. So let's start building them one by one. We go by the sequence that we created. Private, void, I don't have any return, build, okay, input panel. Then I don't have also any type of argument to be received here. Now, what I'm going to create, I have a label and I have a text field. Okay, and then I need to place the components to their place. All right, so in that case, I'm going to create the panel because these two components are available on a panel. So I'll create the panel. So my panel is available, input P, I need to define it, equals to new jPanel. I don't have to customize anything here. I need a label and a text field, so JLabel equals, I need to give it a name, label, let's say it's local in this case. I didn't define it here, it's local, okay. Equals to new JLabel. And then what kind of text do you want to give, or you want to say? Let me check what's written here. Enter a text, okay. So that's enter text must be written in there, okay. That's it, as simple as it is. And then we need to also customize the field of text in. This text in here we need to customize it, but remember this is not local. We have already created it because we need to use it. Actually, we have some manipulation with it. We have some actions to be done using it. So what I'm going to do is I will use text in and I'll say equals to new. I need to define its own type, new text field, JText field. And then what I'm going to do, you need to set the size. And this is, I said, this is one of the limitations that we have in this question. No matter how big you go, 1,000, it's limited. How can we fix this problem? How can we make it somehow unlimited or virtually unlimited? Think about it. So I have here limited text, 20. Maybe you can put 100 or whatever, but it wouldn't be nice. I mean, the view here, let me show you the view, okay? Here, sorry. The view here wouldn't be nice. The further or the more you expand of this field, more than 20, it would be too long and will just make your whole applet viewer not nice, or the presentation of it, the presentation of it here wouldn't be nice. How can we solve this problem? Think about it. Take it as an assignment, or think about it as a duty you have to do. There are different ways to solve this issue. Just think practically. Maybe you've seen before in websites or applications how they can create a field where you can fill up and they put some limit for the text. Think about it, okay? Now, what do we need to do? We need to place the components. Now, first of all, I need to say, where should I place my panel? My panel here is available in the first grid, yes, but where? Let me show you, open this one here. Is it, left justified, right justified, centralized? So it is left justified, is clear. It's justified to the left corner or the left side. In that case, what I'm going to do, I'll say, okay, input panel dot set the layout, okay, that we have, and then what I'm going to do, I say, okay, new flow layout. Now you may say, but you were using grid. Yes, grid for 3 components, yes, but in this case I just want to use the flow layout, left justify it, okay. And then I will say now flow layout, where to place it to the left. That's it. Okay. So we placed our component. We placed our panel. We need to place the components on the panel. So we add the components to the panel. We use input panel.add, add the first component. So we go as the sequence. The sequence says I have a label, then a text field. So we add the label first, then the text field. So dot add, and what was the name of our text field? Text in. So text in. That's pretty much of it for this method. Okay, we need to create the second method. So build output panel. Let's go to that one. Same, I will use the same scenario, private also, void build output panel. And then what I'm going to do, I'll do very similar scenario. I need to create the panel, then create the components, set the panel wherever it is on the layout, and then place the components. So what kind of components do we have here? Let's go to the second panel. We have also label and a non-editable text field, and then it is also left justified. So it's pretty much similar to this, except with this one non-editable, we can set it non-editable. So how about we copy and paste? Maybe it's actually faster. Let me just copy and paste and fix it, although usually I end up doing some mistakes here, but I'll try my best not to do that. Now input, now we don't speak about input, we speak about output. So this is the first one I need to fix. Output panel is also jpanel, and we need to change the field. Now label is local here. I can use the same name, it's fine. The same name will just do, and there will be no problem. The only thing I need to modify the text, we said here val count, so I can just say this one val count, and then what I'm going to do is text field here is different. I mean the size is less, so let me check. The size is approximately less than half. Yeah, it is less than half. So approximately 8 or 9. So I can set it to 8. Okay. And remember that's non-editable, so we need to add one more thing for this text. Now, before I make the mistake, this is not text in, that's text out. Okay. So now I need to set the text out to be non-editable. Okay. So text out dot set non-editable. Okay. Editable is non-editable, so false. All right, so that's it for this one. I need to change here the placement. So this is not input panel, it's output panel, and it's also left justified. So I have no problem here. I need to place the label to it. So this is output also. And I place the label. Label is local here, so we have no problem. Seems I made a mistake here. Build, yes. Now it's better. Okay. So I place the label. Now I need to place the text out. Okay. Now that's pretty much of it. It's done. We don't have any action to be registered or anything now. The third one, yes, have. So private void build button panel, and I have any argument to be received. So now for the button, we have two main things. We need to specify the name, and then we need to register the action. Okay, so I need to create a button because I didn't create it as a private attribute here. Okay, so I need to use the actually create it from 0, but before that we have a panel for it, right? Button panel. So I need to go through the rhythm. It's not compulsory, but so that we don't forget. So button panel equals new J panel, and in this J panel, what we need to do, we need to create a button, J button, give it a name, button, and equals to new J button. And now what's written on the button here, what's typed or created here, calculate. So place it as a text. So our text here is calculate. All right. So now what we need to do, very similar to previous things, we need to place and set and whatever, but before that we need to register the action of the button. So this button must be we must add action listening to it, or action listener. So button dot add action listener, it comes automatically. And now what we need to do, we need to create a class or an instance of a class for us to listen to the action button. I can call it button listener as we did before, and this is my instance. I have to create it myself. I have to implement the class for it. Okay, so in that case I can place the component here, or the panel here, centralized. Why? Now look, my component here is centralized, so I will just use the flow layout and place my panel exactly where it's supposed to be. Button panel dot set layout, and then there what I'm going to do is new layout, flow layout, and then I say place it to the center. Dot place it to the center, the first one. Okay. Now I need to place my button to the panel. So button panel dot add my button. Now, of course, we have this swirly line because this one is not yet defined. We need to define it. So this is the component that we are supposed to create, actually, in that case. And in this scenario, I need to have some action listening. So I need to create a private class. We did this one before. So let's just go ahead and create a private class. What we called it is button listener. Okay. And this implements what? Implements action listener. What we did in what we did in the GUI applications. So we did this one before. Now, to avoid making any mistakes, let's just override all the methods, implement the methods. I'll just place them. Oh, that's not good. Let me just get out of this. Implement all methods will actually take us to very deep implementation. I'm not going to have that one. I know what I'm going to implement. Let me just implement this one. We did it before. If there is any problem, we can fix it. We can try to fix that one. Now let me just do this. Private. Okay. Private. Oh, this is not private. I'm sorry, I forgot. Public. Okay. Void. And the method that we usually start with, action performed, which must be overridden, performed. Okay. And then action event. So I have to provide here action event. Sometimes I make typos here. I don't want to make it. Okay. E. That's okay. So we've created this. Seems that I have a problem. Okay, let me check what kind of problem I have here. A legal expression. just a second. Let me clean this one up totally, because seems to me there are two of these. Okay, now I understood the problem. They became two, and that created the problem. Now let me just revise what I have written here. Okay, implement all abstract methods. That's too many. Oh no, this one is the only method we need to take care of. Yeah, definitely. Let me just terminate those. Okay, I'll just fix it in a second. Just give me a second. Okay. Right. Okay. Seems I deleted one of the braces. Let me check which brace I removed. Yeah, it seems to me there is a brace. Yeah, this one. Okay. Yeah, good to go. Now, this is a problem. Sometimes either mistake, typo mistake, or some of the braces. I don't know what exactly the missing. I will double check the video, but now it's good to go. We have no problem sometimes just mistyping action listener, or for example, or mistyping your own class you created. Yeah, it creates a problem. Now I have the action performed. What kind of action do I have? Okay, this is the method that I have to override or implement. All right, so what I'm going to do is I need to receive a string from the user here, or a text, and then calculate the vowels, then display the count. So we have already studied this before. So let's just define a string, and the string I can call it str if you like, and then I say it is received from text in dot get text. We have already studied this. We have written an example about it. Now let me initialize the count to 0, and then what I'm going to do, I'll create a loop, and in this loop what I'm going to do is I will start from 0 and loop throughout the whole text, or the string text in dot, not text in, no longer needed, str dot get dot length. Okay, throughout the whole string, and increment each time by 1. So go through all the indices and do what we need to do here in this case. Of course, this is not comma, this is semicolon. Seems there is another problem. Okay, let me check it out. Str dot length, yeah. Okay. So now what I need to do is, if I is less, of course, I made this mistake. I just went up, like I didn't pay attention to it. I was telling what's going on wrong. Of course, I didn't set up my condition. I was just setting actually invalid condition, or relational statement. In this case, it's fine. Now, what I'm going to do, I go from the beginning of the string, from the first index until the last index, and I check each and every index, or each and every character. So I can use switch statement, and this will be convenient for the switch statement, and I will switch characters. So the characters that I'm going to switch, actually all the elements of the string or the text, so caret. So we have this convenient method at so I starts from 0, ends by the last index, or the length minus 1, and in that case we will check all the elements. We switch and try to match with what. Now let's set the cases that we have for the vowels. We have character A, capital and lowercase and uppercase, so case A, and also I have the the second one, case E, lowercase and uppercase, and let me just place four of them here. That's enough. E also here. I'll copy this one and paste it so that I don't have to do it again and again. Okay, let me just justify. Now we can do the same for I, uppercase and lowercase. We can do that for O, lowercase and uppercase. And what we have left is U. I can type it directly, case lowercase u and uppercase also u. And that's pretty much of it. If it is matching any of these vowels, then count, increment the counter, and then for the default we don't need it. You can just place it if you like, but it is just in this case it will do nothing. You can just leave it or terminate, just semicolon, it doesn't matter actually. Now I have done the part of calculating the what we have here is the count, or the count of vowels. So what should I do? Exit the loop, come out of the loop, and then what we need to do, first thing we need to do, we need to display the count in this case. So text out dot set text. Now remember that I have count as an integer. It's not suitable for displaying in this text field, so I have to convert it to a string. Value of, I can use value of to convert the integer to an object and make it of type string in this case. Okay, and that's pretty much of it. It's done, so it will be displayed the way we want. Let's just run and test it. Okay, that's exactly what we are looking for. Enter text, and oh yeah, I said earlier I don't want to make it this mistake. Now here is the mistake. Now look. I said I don't want to make this mistake because I copied and pasted. So when you copy and paste, sometimes you don't fix all of them. So I place the output, I place the input, so now I'm going to place actually the output, not the input, and that will do actually exactly what we need. And in this case, let me just run the file. Yeah, this is one. That was a mistake because I placed the input, I copied and pasted, and that was the problem. So in that case, yeah, well, this what seems to be the problem, or was the problem. Now in this case, all I have to do is I need to just provide, like this is an example, provide a string or a text, and then calculate the vowels, and you can just confirm it. So what I want from you as an application is to just simply try to extend this one, make it longer. Like make this one a box. I explained about this one before for display. Think about it like a bigger box for accepting text, let's say up to 500 characters, for example. So we will have other sessions for other questions. Till then, have a good time. Goodbye.